How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, a new Loki trailer has officially dropped, and we got some more information on what the story of the show is actually going to be. Because if you remember, in the first trailer, we didn't actually get that much information as to what the story was going to be. Right at the start, we see that Loki is already captured with the guard holding the Tesseract. But what's interesting to note is that Loki actually first landed in a desert terrain, as you can remember in the first trailer. So I guess we can just assume that the TVA went and arrested the crash-landed Loki. And then we get Loki actually explaining that he knows what this place is. He knows who the timekeepers are. But again, very interesting, because in the first trailer, it seemed like he had no idea where he was. He even thought they were going to kill him. So it's very interesting how, in this trailer, he seems to know more about what's going on. And then in this rotating shot right here, you can see that TVA obviously has a time aesthetic. Even the door of the elevator, you can see, has this hourglass design to it. And then on the right wall, we can see that the timekeepers are being portrayed as these godlike beings. If you weren't aware, the timekeepers are essentially the custodians of the time stream. They keep everything in check. And obviously Loki's been messing with different realities and timelines, as we can see that he's actually caused branch realities like they talked about in Avengers Endgame. And it's crazy to think that the TVA, which stands for Time Variance Authority if you didn't know, actually documents everything that happens down to the exact words that a person says. This next thing is pretty obvious, but I thought it was just something to note that the Marvel Studios logo goes from its classic red and white to a Loki green and yellow, and then in the background you can see a bunch of variant Loki letters floating around. One thing I wanted to talk about is that the TVA must know the eventual future of Loki. They must know that he does get redeemed in the future, because we see in the first trailer that they show him in Ragnarok closer to his redeemed self. But how much of that are they actually going to show Loki? And is Loki ever going to contact Thor and make amends with him? Because in the first trailer, he does name drop Thor in Heimdall, and then he does take the Bifrost. Even if he doesn't meet up with Thor in this season, I think it could still happen in a season 2, because this show is actually one of the few Marvel shows that has been greenlit for a season 2. Now, one of the more confusing parts of these trailers is when we see Loki in a place that is obviously not our Earth. For example, when he's in a destroyed New York, as you can see the Avengers Tower in the background, that looks like a version of New York that was actually nuked in Avengers 2012. So all of these burnt up and post-apocalyptic worlds are basically a result of what Loki has done and how he's messed up alternate timelines. So what's kind of dark to think about is that even though these are alternate timelines, those things still happen. Like in that other reality, those Avengers and all those people in New York, they died. So I don't know if they're going to try to pull an Avengers Endgame and try to bring back Loki to the exact moment that he took the Tesseract, so none of that stuff happens. Who knows how they're actually going to solve this problem. We then see Loki sitting on the throne of Asgard, but in this shot right here, everything is bright, everything is golden, and then the next shot, he's walking up to a post-apocalyptic, messed up Asgard, and there's these weird like cracks everywhere, so it's kind of hard to tell what is happening here. Clearly, this is another alternate version of Asgard that has been destroyed or abandoned. My guess is that this golden Asgard shot is just Loki imagining himself, thinking about what it would look like if he was at the throne. And keep in mind that this Loki is not the same Loki from Ragnarok, who was actually able to sit on the throne for a while. I also love how Owen Wilson just calls out Loki for lying and saying that he's literally stabbed people in the back 50 times. This just feels like one of those Thor-Loki interactions that they would have. Like Thor would just call him out and be like, dude, like, just stop lying. I think that's really fun. So another shot I want to talk about is this one right here, because a lot of people have speculated that this person right here is actually the female version of Loki, which I guess in the context of this show makes sense, because we're dealing with different variants of people, but without everyone on the internet saying that's basically who it is, I don't think I would have been able to figure that out, because we have little to no information going on this character. But if it is in fact female Loki, I think that could make for an interesting scene, an interesting conversation. Seeing what they've been through and how different or how similar they are, I think that could make for a really cool scene. This show looks like it's going to be a mind-bending WandaVision mixed with the timeline aspect of Avengers Endgame, and also has that fun adventure vibe that Ragnarok had. That's just like the overall vibe I'm getting from this show. I love how Marvel is just taking risks with these crazy shows. It looks pretty awesome. So thank you guys for watching this video where there's things in a trailer and I say that was cool. And yeah, let me know what you guys are most excited for from this show, and that's enough out of me. I'll see you next time.